Today we'll discuss the 5 things that must be present in a complete sentence. We'll call them the 5 requirements for a sentence. You'll need to include all 5 requirements in every sentence you write. You'll need to take notes and use the slant strategy as you learn about the 5 requirements. I will expect everyone to participate in the discussion. As I said, there are 5 requirements for a complete sentence. At the beginning of the sentence is a capital letter. What is a capital letter? Do you know what a capital letter is?
A big letter.
Good, perfect. Capital letters are bigger than regular size letters. In fact, they're 2 times the size of regular size letters. A capital letter is a signal to the reader that a new sentence is beginning. What do you think of when I say the word signal to you? What are some examples of signals?
A traffic light.
Perfect. Signals like green lights and red lights are used when we cannot use our voices to communicate something important. When you write, you signal to the reader with a capital letter that a new thought is beginning. We'll use a symbol to help us to remember to use a capital letter at the beginning of every sentence. Like this. A green go light or just a green go light for the beginning of the sentence. If we always signal the beginning of a sentence with a capital letter, how do we signal the end of a sentence?
What was the question again?
How do we signal the end of a sentence?
Oh, a period.
Exactly. When you see a period, you know that the sentence has ended. We call periods end punctuation because periods are punctuation marks that come at the end of the sentence. What other punctuation marks do we use at the end of a sentence?
Question marks and exclamation marks.
Exactly. We only use one of these 3 punctuation marks at a time to signal the end of a sentence. We use either a period, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. The capital letter signals to a reader that a new thought is beginning. It's like a green light. It tells the reader to go. The period, question mark, or exclamation mark says that the new thought has ended. It's like a red light. It tells the reader to stop or pause and take a moment to think about the next thought before going on to the next sentence. Why would we want to give signals to the people who will be reading our writing, and how can these signals help them?
So they know when the sentence is over.
Mm-hmm. Any other reasons why we might want to signal the end of a sentence?
So they know to stop reading.
Mm-hmm. And so that the 2 sentences don't get combined in their head, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So far we've talked about how we start and end a sentence, but we haven't talked about what goes between the capital letter and the end punctuation. What do we put here in this sentence to make a sentence?
Words.
Exactly. To have a complete sentence, we need 2 types of words. The first word is called a subject. The subject of a sentence is the person, place, thing, quality, or idea that the sentence is about. Let's think of some words that fit into each of these subject categories. Can you think of an example that represents a person?
Mom.
Perfect. Maybe one more?
Dad.
Good. What about a place?
School.
Good. And a thing? This is more general.
A computer.
Good. A quality or an idea is something like what it says here. Silence is a quality. And an idea could be peace or love. Words are called nouns. We can use nouns many places in a sentence. When a noun is the word that the whole sentence is about, it's called the subject of the sentence. To help us remember, to always include a subject in the sentence, we'll use a capital S. The second kind of word that we must include in every sentence is called a verb. There are 2 types of verbs. The type we'll talk about today is an action verb. An action verb is a word that shows the action of the subject of the sentence. Action can be something a person does with his body or something a person does with his mind. What are some actions a person can do with his body?
Dance.
Perfect. And what are some actions a person can do with their mind?
Think.
Exactly. To help us remember to always include a verb in the sentence, we'll use a capital V. There's one more requirement. A complete sentence has 1 subject and 1 verb that work together to make sense. For example, the sentence, the boy jumped. And I'll write it right here for you. The boy jumped has a subject and a verb. Boy is the subject. It's the person the sentence is about. Jumped is the verb. Jumping is an action. These two words work together to mean something or make sense. They make sense because we know that the boy can jump. To be a complete sentence, it must have at least one subject, which is boy, and one verb, jumped. And they have to work together to make sense. Let's look at another sentence. The book smiled. Does this sentence make sense?
No.
Why not?
Books don't smile.
You're
People
right.
do.
You're right. In real life, books can't smile. This sentence doesn't make sense. Remember, each time you write a sentence, make sure it makes sense. To help us remember the fifth requirement that the subject and verb must work together to make sense, we'll use this arrow that points in both directions, showing that the two words work together. There's the subject and the verb working together.